day. 2020, still amid this whole coronavirus thing. And we're in Telford, parked up on an industrial estate overnight. Everywhere's kind of closed down at the minute, so lots of space and nobody really to bother you. Fairly peaceful night. We've got quite a long day ahead of us. We're going to Thrapston now from Telford, a couple of hours down the road, and then from there we're going to Bristol, and then across way the other side of Swansea. So all in all, it's going to be a good 400 miler today. A bit like yesterday. Yesterday was a long day. Started in Warwick, being Monday, good weekend at home. And over to Colville to go and pick the truck up. And then, where did we go from there? Oh, we picked up in Colville. And we went down to almost Worthing, and then we've come all the way back up to Telford. So quite a long day. So if I sound a bit tired, that's probably the reason why. I was running a bit hot last night. I woke up a bit hot and sticky this morning. I think it's just tiredness. Hopefully, with a bit of luck, we'll see how we go today. I feel alright in myself. Just I do feel a bit wow. We'll see. Made of stern stuff normally. We were having the conversation the other day, how this virus attacks vulnerable people, with especially with low immune systems. My immune system's always been fairly tough. I think as a coach driver, you pick everything up going, everything that everybody else has had. You tend to be a carrier. You tend to pick it up, pass it on. And certainly, to begin with, as a coach driver, I think I had everything going. I had a rough year the first year. And then I didn't suffer with anything at all. I had the odd cold, usually around about the New Year time. But I was never ill at all. I think I can remember one weekend where, I don't know, I had some kind of a bug. Ended up falling down the stairs at home. I just had no energy. I think I'd just come back in from a trip. Got in, turned everything round, did all my washing. Went to bed. I thought I'll have a couple of hours, because that's pretty much it in the coach industry. Back out again the following morning. When I got up again, my legs were like jelly. Down the stairs I went. I was at home on my own. Managed to get to the phone the boss. I ain't coming in. So I ended up having to have the week off, because they ended up sending another driver. So a week without pay, because I wasn't very well. But I think that was the only time, in all almost 18 or 19 years, I came away from the coach industry, and in that couple of years it was like everything just came and ran into me from behind. It was just like there we go. I've been alright since I started driving the trucks, because you pretty much self-isolate. You don't really see many people. I saw more when I was delivering food all the time. With Maxie, you're kind of in amongst people in distribution centres, but this job, it's mainly farms and building sites. The only time really I've mixed with people has been this last couple of weeks, funny enough. So it does play on the back of your mind. I'm fairly sure it's just tiredness. I've had a couple of paracetamol. So we'll see how we go. Absolutely fine, I'm sure. Anyway, on with the day. Foot on the accelerator. We've got to be in Thrapston for 7 o'clock. I'm actually running just a few minutes late. It'll be about 10 past when we get there, but that'll be fine. In, dump the trailer with a bit of luck, unless they're going to live load. Normally we keep a few trailers at Thrapston, so hopefully there'll be just a drop and swap, get back on the road again. Whichever way you look at it, we won't be getting down to Bristol in one go, so we shall have to have a break somewhere. Continue on for the rest of the day. Alright, we'll catch you in a bit. We're on the M6, just past junction 4 southbound, where you turn off if you're going to Coventry. There's a couple of junctions for Coventry, but you can do the 446 depending on which end you're going into. NEC, Birmingham Airport. We will be continuing down the M6 down to the very end of the M6. We'll pick up the A14 out Thrapston that way. And we're just after 6 o'clock in the morning. As you can still see, the roads are reasonably quiet. There are a few more cars kicking about, a few more vehicles. But generally people are still staying away. Normally 6 o'clock this road's quite busy around here. You've got kind of people going backwards and forwards to work, the shift workers. definitely a few more cars out on the road now. You know, I don't normally get into politics and what have you, but the government this last week have been releasing ideas for how companies can be going back to work once the lockdown has been eased. And I think what some people are missing is the lockdown hasn't been eased yet. It just seems that the press have picked up on one or two things. I do believe though, as a whole, the country are still staying away, behaving themselves. But obviously people are eager to get back to work and see their families and friends. But we just need to keep going just a little bit longer. Just going to slow down a little bit here. We've got a truck alongside us. There's no point slowing down, go quick a minute. Gas powered. Runs on gas. What I did notice the other day was just how cheap fuel is all of a sudden. I had to fill my car up. Normally a tank of petrol would be, I don't know, between 80 and 90 quid. Ridiculous amount of money. I filled up for just over 70 quid on Friday. So that was nice. We've still got another hour to go to get to Thrapston. And I think I feel a bit better than I did before. I'm definitely not as hot as I was. I'm still feeling a bit tired. I'm always a bit nasally, we know this. What's he doing by the side of the road here? God, man. I'll try and aim away from the wind. So yeah, the roads are still fairly quiet, but it's definitely picked up a cog. There's definitely more traffic kicking about. Once again, thanks for those of you that commented on the video last week. I know from time to time this microphone's picking up like a mobile signal, that kind of thing. I think it might be my sat nav, so I'm going to try moving it later, see if it makes any odds. So we'll have to grin and bear it with this video, but hopefully next week I'll be able to get rid of that. Pneumatic International. I've just bought myself one of them. It's the George, I think it is. Can't get cleaner one, wet and dry. I had one for years and years and years. It was an industrial cleaner made by Pneumatic. I was given it, and I put a new power cable on it, so it was extra long, and I bought an extra long hose, and I used to use it on the coach. Store it underneath. I've been out the coaches now, proper coaches, for it's going to be over 10 years now, 11, 12 years maybe, from where I was away week after week. Yes, I went back and did a bit of National Express, and I worked for Johnson's a few years ago, but not doing the type of coach driving I was doing many moons ago. So my Hoover lived at home when I took it out of the coach. Probably it was on the coach for 5 5 or 6 years, took it home, and there it stayed for at least 11 years, so it must have been, I bought it second hand, so it must have been a good 20 years old. And it was going strong till just before Christmas. And then something happened to it. It just kind of went up in a ball of smoke. Tanya had my wife, she had what they call it, a Dyson thing. And I'm not a big lover of the Dysons. Especially for cleaning your car out and stuff. So we bought another one. So far so good. Services. I was in there the other night, stayed for the night. That's another place, normally truck parks, normally full to the brim. There weren't many of us in. Just got the corner of the truck park here, if you can see it, more or less empty. I know a lot of drivers have been complaining about the services, and there's a lot of attention in the press lately about drivers not being able to use the toilets, getting food. I'm fairly self-contained in here. I've got my own microwave and kettle. Bring my own food with me. And I can honestly say, hand on heart, I've never had an issue with using the toilets. They've not always been clean, but not everybody's as clean as everybody else, let's face it. But the ones that I have been using, I've been into Watford Gap a few times to use their loos. They've always been, well, the last couple of weeks for sure, absolutely spotless. Toddington as well. Toddington were okay. There was a bit of a pong as you walk towards the toilets, but when you're actually in there, they were very clean, I thought. Good old Jackie Baker from the Drivers Fund has been kicking up a bit of a stink about services. She's done really well, actually. She's got some of the bosses of these places to stand up and take note. And they've tightened their cleaning regimes. And some of the services are actually offering a little bit more for drivers. Today, Tuesday, some of the moto services are offering free coffees for truck drivers. But again, you know, any other time I probably would have taken them up on that. And I think it's a cracking idea, I think it's a lovely idea, but personally I'd rather steer clear, drink my own supplies. And that's no, you know, I'm not pointing the finger and not saying they shouldn't be doing it, but just a difference of opinion for me in thinking that if you're offering something for free, I can understand there's going to be a lot of drivers that will go for that, but then you don't know who's touched the machines now, do you? And not everybody's lucky enough to have a kettle. And I'm fairly sure those that will be using it will wear gloves, and I'm fairly sure the services staff will keep the machines clean. But they can't exactly wipe them down after every single person's used it. So this traffic has definitely got busier. Right, I want to get over. But you can tell the traffic's got busier because the gaps have got smaller. More vehicles on the road. In some parts we're back to where we were. You see that little van just got into the outside lane? Look how it's leaning down to the left. You see it? Cool. We'll wait on him, I think. Anyway, I've babbled on for long enough. But honestly and truthfully, and everything else that's honest, Jackie Baker, she has done an amazing job. And if you're not on the driver's fund, go and have a look for it on Facebook. If you're a driver or related, does an awful lot of support work for drivers that have been involved in accident or become ill, supporting drivers and families in their hours of need. Lovely lady. Right, we'll love you and leave you for a bit. Getting a bit croaky. See you in a bit. There we go then, at the interchange, M6, M1A14. Definitely a lot more traffic kicking about today. At times it's just the same as it was before. There was a stage at the beginning of lockdown where the only thing on the road was trucks and vans, whether it be small vans, big vans, whatever. There's definitely a lot more cars out there now. Yesterday I saw cars with boats on and bikes and camping equipment. Just, I don't know. Can't quite get my head round. Some of us are still in the thick of trying to work out what the right thing to do is. And it seems others have taken it upon themselves to do whatever they want to do. That's how it seems anyway. Anyway, to each to their own, or however it goes. Hopefully the warmer weather will be with us fairly soon. Kill this thing off. Like I said the other day, it might be hot in this country in summer, but somewhere else it's going to be winter. And this virus is just going to end up continuing around the world whilst people are travelling and not doing what they should be doing. Until there's a vaccine for it. The whole world's still at risk, really. go. These 3 lorries are, look. And these. Give yourselves a bit of space, people. Only a fool breaks the 2-second rule. Just at the end of this road. Take your time, mate. We're all out today. And it is literally just past 7 o'clock, so we're all good. Morrison's just on my right here, DSV on the left. Just in Morrison's the other day. We do quite a bit for Psycho packaging. Psycho packaging, not Psycho. Psycho packaging. Right, I'll go and get myself booked in. Need to find me vest. I'll catch up on the other side. Hopefully it'll just be a trailer swap. I'll see you in a second. drop and swap. Also means I'm going to have to the trailer sides. This trailer is going to be going on to basics. My trailer that we're going to be collecting is 32. See you in a bit. So there we go then, we're on our way. Just rejoined the A14 at Thrapston, heading for Bristol. It's about 150 miles, just under. And once again, same as last week, instead of doing the 42 M5, we're going to cut across to Warwick. And then head down that way, down the A46, down past Evesham, and join the motorway there. Tanya and the boys are going to go out and do their daily walk, so I'm hoping they're going to be on the bridge. Give us a bit of a wave as we go past. Bless them. And if they're going to take a couple of pictures, we'll stick them on at the end of the video. How cool will that be? Every little helps. Be quite excited actually, because Chris watches these videos. Hello Chris. As do the other lads, Matthew and Jackson. So hello to you too. So I've moved my sat-nav out of the way. It's now to the left of me up on top of the dash. So I'm hoping that'll get rid of the noise, moving it away from the microphone and stuff. And of course now my microphone's sat next to my sat-nav, so I might need to move that. We'll get there. One thing at a time. So I know we've done this journey a few times, but the difference will be, hopefully, my little lot stood on top of a bridge at Warwick. And we'll scare the bejesus out of them with the horn as we go by. Because I'm like that. So the journey today down to Bristol, and then the other job is, we've got two deliveries. The first one's in Bristol, and the second one is Neath, Glamorganshire. So it's quite a long distance run we've got today. Lovely. Record. There's no point in recording this bit because we did this bit last week. I'll switch on again when we get towards Warwick. From the other week, actually, I think it was the week before last, was it? Not last week. next week? I can't remember now. All these weeks, they all just roll into one, don't they? Remember me talking about the bridge on the A46 near Coventry, between Coventry and Warwick? They've come on quite a way with that, so we'll do a bit of recording there. Then hopefully everybody will catch up with me and be on the bridge, so we'll record that little bit as well. And then at some point I'm going to have to stop and get some fuel, otherwise I ain't going to make it. But I might just leave that because I've not got a lot of weight on, so I've got enough potentially to get me all the way, but probably not to get me anywhere after that. So potentially, keeping an eye on things, I will run down because we're going to need to take a break as well. We've done 2 hours driving now. It's about 135, 140 miles from here to Bristol, and then from Bristol to Neath. I don't know how far that is. No idea. But with a bit of luck, we'll have enough fuel to get me into Wales. And I know there's a couple of service stations along the way there, so we'll probably just call into one of them. But anyway, we'll love you and leave you for now, and we'll catch up again between Coventry and Warwick. There we go then, on the A46, just about to turn off the little bit of road. Here's this bridge that we were talking about before, just coming up. Let's see how much they've got on with it. I've still no idea where it's going to go. It's always the $1 million question, isn't it? But they're certainly getting on with it now. New roads up to the left. I think this lockdown has actually done some good with the building of the roads. Certainly given them a chance to crack on with it. Big project. Coventry and Warwickshire Gateway. I don't know whether it's going to be a trading estate or what. I know Jaguar Land Rover were on about building somewhere around here, so whether that's it or not, I don't know. I should know. I'm sure there's been stuff in the news about it, but I don't know. Right, this is the curdy-wordy bit. Just feed yourself round, down and on. In just a few minutes we'll be going under the bridge, hopefully. Tanya and the boys will be giving us a bit of a wave. Oh, I'm all excited. Hopefully then, in just a few moments, we will see whether or not they've made it to the bridge. It's nearly 9 o'clock in the morning. They all thought they'd be getting up and doing the schoolwork in their pyjamas. Sorry lads. Should be up and past the petrol station and the bridge after that, with a bit of luck. So further up the road. Still fairly quiet though, isn't it? Nearly 9 o'clock in the morning. Hopefully the A46 will be just as quiet all the way down. Catch up a little bit of time. I've done 3 hours driving so far today, so an hour and a half of my drive time left for 4.5 hours. With a bit of luck, I should just about make it down to Gloucester services. We'll stop there and have half an hour. I had 15 minutes at Thrapston, so I only need half an hour. Will they have made it? all get back in time for 9 o'clock to start the school work. And Tanya could start her own work. Bless her. But they got them out of the house for half an hour, if nothing else. Well, we'll do a bit of a time lapse for the rest of the way down to Gloucester services. Sit back and enjoy. So good. We're 36 miles away from Bristol, just under an hour. Booked in at 11:30, and we should be there. Well, we could be there for about 1:15. So if I really wanted to, I could have a 3/4 of an hour. I could take a 45. I only need half an hour, so I'll probably just take half an hour. See how I feel. A bit nearer the time. I think we'll just make this easy. Oh, there's some gaps on there. We'll go in there. Just take this one here on the corner. in a bit. Alright, well, that's the brake had. We're good to move out of here. We just took half an hour in the end. Let Mr. Samworth go. The last bit about these services is you can't see anything when you're pulling out the bays. They've just got the angle of the bays slightly wrong. Hello. I just thought, we've done this whole video today looking out the windscreen. A chance to say hello, so hello. There we go, out of Gloucester services. We'll spin you back round so you can see where we're going. Same again when you come out of here. A lock on so you can have a peek through the wide angle mirror. I've made a bit of a change to the Scandinavianz mount, as this is version Scandinavianz mount Mark III. Still love the way it works, but there was just something not quite fluid about it. So I fitted a ball joint onto the mount, so you can literally just swivel it round to wherever you want it. It was cheap enough to do, about £9 I think the ball joint cost. It just makes life a bit easier. Oh, so here we go then, back onto the M5. 35 miles to do. I think we all know what the M5 looks like. It's a lovely day. It's nice and warm again. So we'll shoot on down the M5 and I shall catch up with you once we get to Bristol, because we're going to have to not necessarily go through Bristol but come off the beaten track. So we'll start recording again once we get off the motorway. See you in a bit. So here we are in the thick of it. I'll just go over a lane, otherwise we'll end up in the industrial estate. We've still got a couple of miles to go yet. I'm not entirely sure where the place is when we get there. I have had a look on Google Maps, but it's not been very helpful. So we might have to make it up a little bit once we get there. Confusing road layout. It's nice to get off the motorway. Something else to think about for a while. I'm fairly sure in my head I've got a little microchip that just turns traffic lights to red every time I come up to it. So we're on the A4 heading towards Bath, whichever way you call it, and it's just off the Bath Road where we're going. This is all fairly quiet as well. This is usually quite busy. There that we just passed, a couple of people coming out with decorators clothes on, having a bit of a refurb, getting ready for reopening, which is good to see. I know a lot of the pubs are struggling at the moment. They were struggling anyway, quite a few of them. support our local for sure. We go a bit quiet, it's just because we're concentrating as we come round. Keep an eye on these kids. Fall off and into the road. I bet people that live here can't remember the last time these roads were so quiet around here. And they're definitely not as quiet as they have been. There's definitely more people out and about. But it's still very quiet. I'm fairly sure it's this trading estate that we're just going past. Many years ago, I was down here delivering a training course, and my sat-nav packed up right in the middle of it all. And it was before Google Maps, and I ended up going into one of the shops and buying a new one. This brings back memories. Turning off here shortly, so then it's just a case of finding the place. Bet your life if we leave the camera running, it's going to be a bit of a nightmare. But yeah, that's real life. It's not always as easy as just getting straight there first time. Bristol's really good. I like Bristol. It's worth coming for a bit of a plodge round. So this next left is ours, and it says we're just a couple of minutes away. Getting round this corner. I don't think I've ever been here before. Dead ends, isn't it? What is it here where he's going? FP cartons. I know there's a haulage place up here, so it might just be that. FP cartons. Like it. I don't know if I like the turning though. The last one got round, so we know we can. It's fine. bless him. Just sit here and find out what the man wants us to do. Right, catch up in a bit. Oh, that was nice and quick and easy. Straight in, open up, straight back out. That's what we like. So we are an hour and 3/4 from Neath, and most certainly shall be going for diesel before we get there. I've got enough to get me there, probably enough to get me back to Megate, but it's just not worth the risk. At the end of the day, we don't know where they're going to be sending us after that, so, and whether we'll be loaded. So it's better to be safe than sorry, for sure. I've still got a quarter of a tank, and it's saying it's still good for another 200 miles, but never ever let my diesel run that low unless it's an absolute emergency. These fairground bits. Take this nice wide, or as wide as we can, and hopefully there won't be another Arctic coming in. Just be mindful of the walls. It's good of them to leave that bit of a cut out there, isn't it? There we go. I'm getting stared at by people walking their dogs in the park. The hell's he doing coming in here? It's very lovely. So we're back onto the M4 and pretty much all the way to Neath, I do believe. Let's have a good look what Tom says. Yeah, pretty much that. All the way. M4 all the way. And it's just off at Baglam Bay, near the Britain Ferry. Turn left into here, but we're not allowed to turn right out, so we'll go left, follow the road through and back out the other side. Yeah, this whole area, Bristol, Bath, whichever way you want to call it, love the area. I did a lot of touring around here in the coaches many moons ago. It'd be nice to come back and have a week. Time lapse to get us the rest of the journey over to Neath. Fairly close to hitting the 300-mile mark already. It's another 80 miles or so to Neath. Nice little run out today. Lovely job. Right, we'll see you when we get there. I'm quite enjoying the scenery here, really lovely. Right, see you in a bit. Bye. here at Mega Services, so we've crossed over the bridge. Still got another hour and a half to go yet, but the fuel's just getting to just below quarter of a tank, so it's worth just popping in and fill it up whilst I can. And looking at the sign there next to us to the right, they do take key fuels. I've been in here a few times for fuel actually. Still a lovely day. And we've just got to wait for these trucks to fuel up and get out. We can't go anywhere. Nobody else can get past me, so kind of blocking the whole place off really. Not a lot we can do about it, we've just got to sit here and wait. So these two in front are going to be at least a quarter of an hour, 20 minutes the time they've fueled up, so might as well plonk it on rest, take me 15 minutes and then shuffle up once they've gone. So we should all be good to go. Sneak in a 15-minute break, and then when we get to Neath, by the time we got unloaded, can park up on site, take half an hour there, and then start heading to wherever it is that we need to go. Anyway, just keeping you updated, and we'll see what happens in a bit. Right, laters. Oh, so then on we go. Managed to fuel up 350 quid or something. It's definitely got a lot cheaper diesel. I had a right wobble when I was on the fuel pump. It's just pulled out in front of me. Yeah, when I was on the fuel pump, I just kind of put my head round the corner, and there was a sign that said UK fuel's not accepted. And for the life of me, I couldn't remember. I'd actually filled up by this time. For the life of me, I couldn't remember whether we were UK fuels or key fuels. And I had it in my head that we were UK fuels. I thought, here we go. But I thought, no, she scanned my card, she tried it, it was authorised, so it should be alright. Absolutely fine. So there we go, 52 miles left to do, all along the M4, just the last little bit where we come off. Just over an hour. I think I said an hour and a half before, didn't I? Just over an hour. Be about an hour and a quarter, I'd imagine. Which puts us 10 to 2. We're booked in for 2 o'clock. Do like it when a plan comes together. Got a full tank of diesel, just over half a tank of AdBlue. We're all good. I could have filled my AdBlue there as well. I might do it on the way back, if we come this way back. And for now, I just wanted to get my diesel, make sure we're all good to get there and back. Half a tank of AdBlue will do me until the end of tomorrow, if not halfway through Thursday, so there's no panic. We're all good. Right, well, we'll go back to the time lapse and I'll see you when we get there. So here's another one then that I'm not 100% sure we're going to the right spot. I've tried to narrow it down. I couldn't even see it on Google Maps. But it is Wales. Even when there's signposts in Wales, it doesn't necessarily mean you're going in the right direction. A bit like Ireland that way. We're just a mile away with a bit of luck. But it certainly looked like there was plenty of options for turning round if it's not quite right. I've tried to pinpoint the location according to Google Maps where it is. But when you zoom into the maps, it just shows an empty cabin. So we shall see when we get there. Half a mile away. Quite on the left is. Yeah, left. The other left. That's it. And then straight on over here. Nice bit of social distancing going on there. The other way of doing it is just to keep your eyes peeled as you're driving into these places, because quite often you'll be close by but it might be 100 yards out or so. We're looking for Sofidel. It was much easier when there was hardly any traffic kicking about, because if you did go wrong, you didn't have to worry about stopping and having a good look. This will be the one that gets us, people. By the looks of it. How very strange. How very bizarre. I hate it when they give you a map to follow because I ain't got a clue. Anyway, we're going to have a word then. Catch up with you shortly. So all the way around the building, follow the road round, he said, past the pallets, opposite corner, in the corner, somewhere around about there. I forgot half of it before I even left the building. I think it's just in the corner here, I think it's just in here, where he said. Somebody, I suppose. Alright, so that's the last one done. So what we're going to do is work our way back to the M4. We've got a collection in the morning in Bristol, so we'll try and get back either Cardiff or Mega. See how we feel. Done a lot of miles today, so need to be sensible. Get back to Mega, that would be okay. I prefer Cardiff services, I might just stop at Cardiff actually. It's easier to get in and out of. And then we'll call it a day. So that's it for this week's vlog. Absolutely shattered. I'll try and get another one done next week. Thanks very much to those of you that have recently subscribed. If you're watching the video and you haven't subscribed, you might want to hit the subscribe button. There will be one that will come up at the end of the video. Thanks for the comments, keep the comments coming. It's always nice to have a bit of banter. And see you again next week. What did I say about traffic lights? Always go to red, every time. Right, see you next week. Bye.